Our Island Time Talk, and we have the pleasure of having Dexter Stanley-Tauvao. He's going to, joining us in the studio to talk about being named a Fullbright Scholarship recipient and plans to do his Masters in Jazz in New York. Now, Dexter graduated from Te Koki, New Zealand, of music in 2017 with first class honours in jazz performance. Studying with Lance Phillip and the late Roger Sellers, he also completed a Bachelor of Arts in German and a graduate certificate in teaching English second language at Te Herenga Waka Victoria University of Wellington. And there's so much more about this guy, but we're going to leave it up to Dexter to tell us. Welcome, Dexter, to our Island Time show. Great to have you with us this morning.
Thanks. Good morning, Tofiga. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, honor to be here. And also shout out to Fabi for the link up to come and have a chat this morning.
Very nice. Now, when I was reading through your bio and what you've been up to, I'm blown away. And just really excited to be able to explore more and find out more about yourself. So, Dexter, can you give us a bit of background? We spoke about it before when you first came in, that you're a hut boy. You're also a young man from Petone, e whakasa, which I'm a whakasa boy myself. So can you a little bit more about your family upbringing and your background?
Yeah, sweet. So I grew up in the hut, mainly in Stokes Valley with the family there. Petone e whakasa growing up as well. Went to Hutt Valley High School. That's where I found I got the avenues to pursuing music, studying it. I was actually going to do science down in Otago until I found out that you could study music and up here as well. Saved a bit of cash, instead of partying down under. More background. The villages that I represent come from the Veilo Faleaka,
Nice.
Tāngai Savai'i and Neafu Savai'i.
Yeah.
My parents, Dexter Stanley-Tauvao, and grew up mainly in the care of my mum's side with my grandparents who have passed, Naomi Titi and Afo Stanley. 27 years old at the moment, and we'll see what happens in the next 27. Pretty exciting times.
Wow. Very young and very talented. Dexter, I was wondering, there's not many Samoans I know that have a name like Dexter. Where did Dexter come from?
I think that's all on my dad. I've got 4 brothers, 5 of us in total, and we've all got pretty out of it names.
Hey.
Yeah.
And what are your brothers' names?
So my oldest brother is Lucho.
Hey.
I think that's named after one of the uncles.
Lucho.
Which is Mexican for Luke.
Hey.
Then my next brothers are Saxton, Mahali, and Alize.
Wow.
Not sure. Dad's the only common denominator there, so I have to ask him about it.
No, I many of us Pacifica, we love rhythm, we love music, drumming. But how did you get into jazz drumming?
Yeah, so that was a strange one. Growing up, I'd been playing drums since I was a kid, listening to the kapiango in church, beatboxing along, and Grandma always used to smack me over the head for it, but Grandpa realised there was some talent, got me a skin drum when I was 4.
Yeah.
And kept playing on that until I was 6, and just playing music for fun, rocking out to Stevie Wonder and Bob Marley.
Yeah.
All the way through high school, my teachers were pretty supportive, and they're like, "Oh, if you want to get really good at drums, maybe consider jazz." And I'd heard about it being a really technical kind of music.
Yeah.
And so my teacher recommended I join the jazz band. I think year 12, maybe late year 11.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until then that I realized that I really liked jazz music. Watching the Pixar Disney films growing up, like Toy Story, Monsters Inc. Really liked the background music in those, and when I found out late high school that you can actually play that kind of music in bands,
Yeah.
pretty much took it and ran.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, what was the progression? What were the steps, and what got you over to doing your Bachelor of Arts in German?
German. So at high, I took music, and I think I wanted to do PE and something else, but they actually botched up my options.
I see.
So handing in what options I wanted to do, and they put me in the German class. I figured, it's something different. Why not give it a try? There's obviously some girl in there that I had a crush on, so you keep going with the
always the girl, eh?
Always the girl somewhere.
Make you speak any language if you got that little crush.
Yeah. So I kept going with German, and then it got to the point where I really enjoyed it. Speaking Samoan growing up, you realize what speaking more than one language can do and what it means. So I enjoyed being able to speak a third language, kept up with it. And I think German and music were my top subjects in year 13.
Wow.
And I figured for a career path, I wanted to go to teachers college.
Yeah.
And I heard that you needed 2 subjects to major or specialize in 2 subjects. And so I wanted to do music in German, not realizing that you had to, one of your 2 had to be math or English. And so they're like, well, you can't do music and a minor in German. You have to do 2 separate degrees. You can do a conjoint. So I just signed up for that and went with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were living in Berlin as well?
Yep.
And how long were you living over there?
So I was there for 3 years. I moved over in January 2019. I got asked by a friend of mine, Umar Zakaria. He's a bass player that I met at the New Zealand School of Music. He knew that I'd been to Germany already and that I was thinking about going back one day.
Yeah.
And so when he put a quartet together, he's like, do you want to be the drummer in the band? Going to move to Berlin. And at that point, I'd finished my honours in 2017. 2018, I was working up at the lab, the cafe up at Victoria, and just gigging around town. Comfortable lifestyle, but nothing too exciting happening. So when he asked me to join, I thought might as well give it a crack and jump on the plane. So January 2019, I moved over there. Really fell in love with the city. Got a year in before lockdown.
Yeah.
Found a special partner over
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So when you were in Berlin, being Samoan boy, raised here in New Zealand.
Yep.
I was wondering if you're in Berlin, what sort of food do you look for and can eat in Berlin? What was your diet in Berlin?
Yeah, so Berlin's a really international city. And German food's actually not that popular in Berlin. You can find it everywhere. You have beer gardens and bar restaurants, sorry. But the Asian game's really strong. There's a huge Vietnamese population in Berlin, so that's usually the go. At least once a week I'll be having a duck fried rice down the road. But yeah, all sorts of foods there. Asian food and also Turkish. You can't go to Berlin without having a doner kebab.
Man. So if I was to go to Berlin and come and see you and do an interview over there, I'm not sure if our boss is listening, but if we ever come over there, where would you take me for feed?
First place, gotta head up doner kebab. That's the classic Berlin. Next is currywurst or currywurst. That's the German. That's like really nice fried sausages covered in tomato sauce and curry powder.
Oh, surely.
That's a Berlin tradition. And then any beer garden for pork knuckle and beers after that.
Yeah, pork knuckle.
Yeah, pork, meat and potatoes is pretty much the go in Germany. So. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nga'oa, but
we love nga'oa. But so how did you receive the Fulbright? How did you get named as a Fulbright recipient, scholarship recipient?
Yeah, so my partner Bridget, that's her name, we met in Germany. She's American, and she actually got a Fulbright, I think 2016, to go to Germany with her music. Fulbright's an exchange organization.
Yeah.
The mission being hopefully to boost understanding and awareness of cultural differences through academic exchange.
Nice.
And so my partner Bridget, she got a Fulbright to go to Germany way back then, and I think during the lockdowns, we're sitting around. It's been a rough year and a half too by now. I think winter 2021, and she's like, "Oh, have you ever thought about applying for the Fulbright?" And I heard about it. I've been to a couple of events because of her, and she's the one that put me onto it. Like, why not? Let's if you're being a jazz musician, New York's the place to be.
Wow.
Kind of like coming here for rugby. So she's like, yeah, put an application together, see what happens. So, and she and one of our good mates gave me a bit of help with the essay writing and how to properly draft this kind of application, and handed it in, and fortunately named one of the awardees for this year. So.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So Dexter, what's the plan with after your masters in New York? What's the plan for Dexter in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so lots of options. After the Masters, I have to leave the States. That's one of the conditions of the award.
Yeah.
And so one of the thoughts is to come back here to New Zealand.
Wow.
My partner and I met over there, and then the lockdowns happened, so she still hasn't come down to meet anybody yet. It's been 3 years together. We're hoping to come back this Christmas, but I think also after the Masters, see if she likes working here in the vibe, the lifestyle, meet the family and the friends. Going back to Berlin is another option because we both really love it there. We're pretty well established.
Yeah.
But either one of those.
Yeah.
I think we'll see what doors open over the next 2 years and what things we can make of ourselves, and wherever it takes us, that's where we'll be.
What's the jazz scene like here in Wellington, New Zealand, and in New Zealand?
It's hard to describe, having been away for. I mean, not hard to describe. Not really hard to describe. I've been away for the last 3 years, but I always tell people it's really strong, but it's really small.
Yeah.
I mean, New Zealand in general, you know, we all know it is a small place, and when you get into distinct fields, it gets even smaller. So we've got some really awesome musicians in Wellington, in Auckland, I mean, all over.
Yeah.
I think Wellington's the main hub for jazz, probably just because the music school and the population.
Yeah.
Lots of great musicians and venues around town that I'm hoping to visit again. I've only been back for a week, so I haven't really seen anybody in the scene yet.
Yeah.
So I'm catching up with family and friends. But yeah, usually the regular story for New Zealand, small but punches above its weight.
And are there many other Pacifica musicians that are in the jazz scene here in New Zealand?
There are a few scattered across. I'm not in really good contact with them, unfortunately. I know that there are a few of us, and there have been a few of us before me too, growing up. I'd have to really look into the networks and see who's doing what.
Yeah.
I'll be meeting with my mentor, Opilongi Sam.
Oh,
Maybe
nice.
you've heard of him as well.
Yeah.
He's up in Kaitaia now, and we'll have a recording on one of his works later this month. So he was a big influence on me and in general in the Pacifica music scene. For the next generation. Classic names like Dylan Elise, he's over in the States. Old mate of mine, Elijah Futi, he grew up in P-Town. I think he's over in Malps now though. But there are quite a few names, there's potential out there. But hopefully one of the things I want to get out of this is to, make more Pacifica aware that we can do this music.
Yeah.
That there's a place. I mean, there's a place for us anywhere, but still need somebody to maybe shine a bit of a light. And if I can help with that, then that'll be me.
Nice. Who are a couple of your big inspirations in terms of the jazz scene or just in your music?
Yep. So I mentioned Opilongi before. He was one of the Pacifica liaisons at Vic Uni when I first started. So he was pretty key in giving me opportunities back then. Might as well make the shout outs to my lecturers. There's Lance Phillip, who's the drum teacher up at NZSM. Dr. Dave Lissick, he's been a great mentor of mine over the years. Have to give thanks to my mate Umar, who picked me up to go to Berlin in the first place.
Nice.
But in terms of the musicians up there, I'd say Jeff Hamilton's my favourite drummer over the years. His playing style was pretty smooth, and that's what I like to listen to and how I like to try and play. So
very nice. Well, it's just letting me know that Lapi Mariner is sending his love and support, and so great to have him. He's over in the Gold Coast, very busy man, but also another well-known Pacifica musician. So
yeah, and I grew up listening to him and just Jam or Jam, right?
Yeah.
Shout Lapi.
Yeah, the voice of the Pacific, we call him.
Yep.
So shout out to Lapi. But Dexter, we really appreciate you coming in, taking the time to come and be a part of our Island Time show this morning.
Great, happy to. Thanks for having me.
Especially before you go to New York as well. But congratulations on the Fullbright Scholarship, and all the best with studying your masters over there. All the best to your partner as well, and hopefully we will see you in Wellington shortly. And as you start the big jazz scene here for us in Wellington.
Yeah, maybe keep it going.
Yeah, but from one e whakasa member to another, love your work and all the best here among we lover.
Yep, go get it over.
Okay, thank you. And that was my man Dexter Tauvao. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Mr. Jazz musician himself, heading off to New York and doing great things. Okay, I'm trying to look for the song now. Justin Wellington with Aiko Aiko.
Small time alongside J.